any stories of those early days that kind of like still stand out in your mind as something funny, something, that was just going on in the whole scene, I guess?
Well, I think toward the end of 84, 85, Lord Knows, a character, we will just stay with that name for now, became our art director. I was editing the magazine with somebody who called himself Somerset Mau Mau. And the first magazine was really largely dedicated to psychedelics, psychedelic drugs, psychedelic awareness, ideas that rotated around the notions of psychedelia, including the science and technology that we would eventually focus on and so forth. So anyway, we started doing a fair amount of what we were writing about. There was one trip that we took, I think it was LSD, and we were up on a walking path in Marin County, and as we were coming down, we all expressed the same sense that we were coming down into a parallel reality, that everything was the same but a little bit different, and we had jumped from one reality into a different parallel reality. So we went back into Mill Valley, California, where Somerset Mau Mau had a place at that time. We left off Lord Knows, and it got to be around 11 a.m. and we were hungry. We went to this burrito place in Mill Valley, and the guy in front of us was naked. So at that point, we were really pretty certain that we had come down in an alternative universe. And the guy behind the counter kind of shrugged and said, "Oh yeah, he does that all the time." Now I'd never seen him before or since, but he said. So we called Terrence McKenna to ask him if the universe had changed, and he just howled with laughter. And then we went off to some beach and drank some beers. This horrible little beach that you can see San Quentin from. Is that the one that's in Marin? Yeah, San Quentin. Really desultory, awful thing. But we were planning this. We had made contact with somebody who was managing Robert Anton Wilson, and we were planning. He was available to speak for $500, and we thought that was great. And we were planning an event, or we were going to plan an event with Robert Anton Wilson speaking as a benefit for the magazine, so that we could get our second edition published. And we had decided that we thought it would be a good idea to do it on a houseboat that had been famous because Alan Watts had lived there and held seminars there and events and so forth. So we went to the houseboat. We drove over to the houseboat after still trailing on the LSD, but having drank 3 beers each also. So kind of sodden trails. And we tapped on the door, and this really old woman answered the door, who sort of had the presentation of an old crone, I mean, it's just, to us, tripping. She looked like an old crone, and in this really scratchy voice, she complained for about an hour while we stood there at the door. And there's some story about how she was trying to maintain the spirit of the Alan Watts houseboat, and some yuppies were trying to ruin it for her. And it turned out that she was just there. She had snuck in. She was just squatting. So I suppose there's no real conclusion to that story, other than that we took some drugs and funny things happened. And we actually landed in an alternative universe. I'm not really sure.